Run, river, run, run through the hills. Run, river, run to the sea. Run, river, run to your place beneath the sun. Run, river, run over me.
Hi, this is Jan Lewis. Welcome to be my guest. Today we have from Brookline a fiber artist. Wait till you see what she makes. This is Janet Kawada. Welcome, Janet.
Welcome. Thank you.
And Janet, you were raised in Newton.
Yep.
You live in Brookline, and you had never, except for a relative, been down to the Milford area.
Right.
So she kind of thought, I kind of know it around here a little bit. Right? Wait till you see what she does. When did you get into fiber art?
So I probably have always been a fiber artist because my grandmother taught me to crochet and knit and sew and tap and do all that stuff. And I did it from the time I was probably 12.
Yeah.
And then I was a quilter for 10 years in my 20s.
Yeah.
And then I went back to art school in my 30s.
Where'd you go?
Mass art.
Oh.
And I discovered weaving and surface design and paper making, which are all the various aspects of fiber arts. Mm-hmm. And that was the end. I mean, that was the beginning.
Were you like that as a kid, creative?
I guess. I was creative more in a I need this, so I'm going to do it kind of attitude.
You had the bee in your bonnet, you're going to do it.
Right.
That's what I would, I can relate a lot.
Right.
Oh, were you the only one in your family, your only child?
No, my mother was a painter, and I tried my hand at painting, but that wasn't going to work.
That didn't. I had a dear friend who went to RISD, Rhode Island School of Design. She did, I don't know how she did it. She would show me, and I would go in here and out here, but I guess she shows up in Boston on Newbury Street. Some sort of very, very elegant place. Glass. She does some sort of designs within the glass pieces.
Oh, nice.
I was amazed when I first met her here. I was just drawing and sketching, and she had these. I began to get more interested in my art again, and all kinds of art. When I met her, I said, it's coming back. Now, she says that Janice says she didn't make that necklace, but that is amazing. Where did you get that?
So one of my former students who made this when she was a student, Rebecca Turbo, she's in New York now, she made this. She loved turquoise. And so I taught felting. Yeah. And when you learn felting, you learn how to make a felt ball because it's very easy. It's one of the first things you do, and it shows you how the fleece works. Yeah. It's kind of like when you learn to sew, and you first learn to sew on a machine, you learn the straight stitch, and then you go on from there. Yeah. So this is kind of a first lesson. So she had made this necklace.
Janet walked into the studio, and you should see. Stand up for a second. I want them to see your gorgeous outfit. This has lace all on the bottom. Here, let me see. This has beautiful lace, and then she has leggings on that are funky. What are they? Navy or black or white?
They're black and white.
She has her necklace, her bracelets, her necklace. This is the high style. Now, if you're looking in magazines right now, ladies, but having lace on the bottom of your shirt, and I'm going to have to buy the lace because I can't find them anymore.
All the old lace, yeah.
I'm going to have to go to Joann's or Michael's and find a bunch of lace.
Nah, go to Boomerangs.
What's Boomerangs?
Boomerangs is the secondhand store that the AIDS for Action runs, and all the money goes to AIDS.
Where is it?
There's one in Cambridge, one in JP. I think you have to come in towards our area.
More towards up to find it.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, did your parents realize you were this crafty? Probably not. You weren't really that much into it then, but kind of, right?
Yeah, I don't think they thought that I was going to go this way, but...
But once you got it, that was it. This has been your career.
Yeah.
And it's been successful, too.
Yep, for the last 30 years.
And she is up... You are displaying at what place in Boston now?
So I used to show at the Kingston Gallery, which is in the South End, but I'm now, at the moment, in the Umbrella Center for the Arts in Concord, in a group show called Migration, and I'll be showing at the St. Botolph Club in April, and I'll be running a workshop at the Lexington Library in the fall.
You run workshops.
I do.
We could get you out this way, because that's very popular. Workshops are so much needed. Now, this is part of your exhibit where you are now.
At the St. Botolph Club.
Okay.
This will be going
Let's hold this up for. This is, what's it called again now?
So,
Migration?
This is a part of a migration series, and this is a gelatin print, so it's on fabric. The plate, instead of an etching plate, is a plate of gelatin.
Yeah.
Like
Jell-O.
gelatin, like think jigglers.
Yeah.
From way back, like that thickness.
So what do you squish them down? Or?
No, so you make the plate of gelatin, which is soft, so then you can ink it up. It's like a monoprint process.
Yeah, sure.
And you ink it up, and you can make resists. And so the background, the color is the acrylic paint. It's
These are like people,
watercolor.
right? Little
yeah,
people.
and then it has embroidery and
So look at, you've put embroidery through
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
So it's fabric, right? Obviously.
it's a piece of cotton. So it's not on paper. It's on a piece of cotton.
What, I mean, the design itself, did you know ahead of time, Janet, what you were going to do, or did you just come to you?
I tend to be more work within the moment.
Me
so,
too. Yeah. Okay, I got it. Yeah, she's spontaneous.
So I'll put an image on, and then I'll kind of play, and then I'll see what
Yeah.
how comes out.
When did you make this one?
I just finished it last month.
And you've got, it's on display over in Concord, right?
No, this is going to be in Boston.
This is going to be
in
Boston.
April. This hasn't been displayed yet.
Oh, now wait till you see these little houses that she makes. Show us some of those. At first I wasn't sure what it was, but they're sculptures.
They are sculptures. So they're a series that I'm working on. I've been working on it for probably about, I would say probably 10 years.
Can you see
in
this? Can you?
various forms, and they're made these ones are made mostly of felt. They have imagery on the inside. I don't know if you can see that. I can lift it up.
Can you see that? You want to hold it up? There you go. And
So-
keys. She has keys all around
I
it.
have keys on it. So the base is felt, and I use the felt in my work because I like the process of making felt, which is very labor intensive but also very satisfying. I also think I'm very tactile, and to me, part of my art is the tactility, the fact that you can feel it. And for this home series, which has to do with where we find our home and how we carry it and what gives us that feeling of home, I've used the felt because often, from the time you're a baby onward, you're wrapped in a blanket, you're wrapped in some fabric, you're wrapped in some textile, and that's that feeling of comfort for most people.
Right.
And so my
Look at this one. Now this is this is
Right.
That's another little house.
right. So these are all houses. Some have doorways, some don't. Some have interior imagery. Some have only exterior imagery.
Let's hold this one up. Paul, you got to. This is a.
So
It's got a little door on the front, right over here, like kind of a door, right?
right.
How long
we
did it take
do,
you to
but
make
you
that,
can't.
Janet? And is it about a couple of years to make it, or do you cook for you?
So when I finally get the final image in my head,
Yeah.
it doesn't take very long. Probably takes, I don't know, a couple of weeks to make it. But a lot of these materials, as you can see, are stitched together. And I do that because I use a lot of the leftovers from my work. So I also make very big sculpture.
Yeah.
And oftentimes you have the cut, and I...
You've got
tend-
one right here. She's going to show
Right,
you a
and
wall
I
hanging.
tend not to throw anything away.
Oh, I love it.
So it all gets sewn
Help
together.
her hold it up. There you
And
go.
then this will also be in that migration.
She made
pack.
this all fabric.
So all these different pieces came from different pieces, and then I'll put them together. And sometimes you have to live with them for a
Is there
while.
wool in this? Because I smell wool. Is
yeah,
it wool?
yeah. You have to kind of live with it to have it talk to you to see what comes out,
I love
and
this.
then I know what's going to happen.
You've got little beads.
Yep.
And
Fabric, embroidery.
Fabric. Are they little houses or mushrooms?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. And this can hang on your wall.
This will be framed.
You're going to frame it.
Yeah, this will be framed.
How many of these have you made? They're gorgeous. What?
Thank you. Over a lifetime, I don't know, a
Ton of
lot.
them?
A lot.
And I bet they sell quickly.
They do.
Now, how can people get a hold of you, Janet? Let them know.
So I have a website, JanetKawada.com is my website.
Kawada, JanetKawada.com.
.com, all one word. And or you can email me through the website, or you could email me at jkawada@usa.net.
There you go. So, if people would like you to come and, you said that you gave workshops, right?
I do give workshops. I used to teach at Mass Art. I don't teach it. I retired.
Okay.
So I do give workshops periodically.
So if somebody is interested,
Sure.
gosh, this is a big deal with libraries now. They're opening up their
I know. It's a whole new part of the library, I guess, is to
Definitely.
bring people in.
bookstores too.
Yeah.
They're doing it.
I don't work just in felt, and the workshop that I'm going to do in Lexington is actually more of a mixed media paper workshop, but it'll be about the little houses. So
I think what I love the most is the picture that you've got, the picture that was on the Jell-O. You mentioned the Jell-O.
gelatin.
That's up my line when I do art. It's kind of, it's not abstract, but is what you call it?
Right.
That's
I call it a collage.
Yeah.
So,
That's why I like collage.
Yeah. My work tends to be my 2D work is more collage.
God, I love that.
My 3D work is mixed media sculpture.
Boy, I would think that would fly off the shelves. I mean, it's a gorgeous. Do you have a lot of them at home?
No, I don't have a lot of them at home.
Well, where's your studio?
My studio is in my house in Brookline.
Wow.
Yep. So
Now,
it makes it very convenient.
Do you have children or grown kids that look at your art? No.
I have grown kids and I have grandchildren, and most of them don't even pay attention to my art
Are you kidding?
because they've lived with it all their life. It's just it's like what Nana does. It doesn't.
None of your kids, your own children, became artists. Were artsy.
No, although they're both arts oriented. One works in nonprofit for grant writing,
Yeah.
and the other works for he's in theater development. So
That's a form of the arts.
It is.
Now you've got something else in there. Show us what else you have in there.
In here?
Either there or in the other one.
well, I have another felted drawing. I call these felted
Ooh.
drawings.
Oh,
So this one's a little different.
how do you know? Okay, this is the front. Okay.
Yeah. How do I know? Believe me, I know.
For a second, I was like, wait. Then
They
I saw-
do have a
oh,
back. But
Look at that! I've seen these. Oh my gosh.
I use a lot of found material in my work.
Yeah.
I'm interested in kind of mixing things up.
Oh, definitely. That's why I'm attracted to this so much, because the word would be funky and
Yeah.
imaginative.
Yeah.
No wonder I love it. You just use everything. She's little squiggles down here. She's got the little shiny little ones up here. Looks like somebody with a hat there. What's this now? What's
Yes.
Yes. Yes. It's just, it hangs there to make people say, what is it?
Yeah.
And these are little gems that you can get, right?
Right.
And you did some embroidery.
Yeah.
And it's all wool.
It is oval.
Are you going to frame this one?
I am.
Talk about talent. Oh my gosh.
I am.
Where did I read about you, Janet? Was it in the in one of the Sunday? Was it in one of the Worcester papers? One of the Sunday newspapers? Where did I hear about you? I knew I read an article.
I don't know.
Or wait a minute. Did you appear somewhere? I always catch who's appearing where. I may have got it where you were going to be exhibiting or talking. In one of the Sunday papers. They're very good in Worcester about letting you know what's going on in Boston.
Oh, well,
too. In Metro West.
it might have been in Metro West. Since I've been in this show out in Concord, there's been a number of things that's going on there.
That's where I heard. Then Metro West, the Sunday
Yeah.
newspaper. I go right down it. That's where I saw you. I said, a fiber artist? This is fantastic. Now, how long do you spend each day with your art?
So, I'd like to say I spend every day with my art, but I don't.
Yeah.
It's a big part of my life, and now that I'm getting ready for a show, I am in my studio every single day. But I think when I don't have a set show, I'm there probably like 2 days a week,
2 days a week.
where I go in and I'm just there.
You shut the door, nobody come in?
I do, yeah. Well, yeah, that's the thing about being an artist, and I know this from my mother, who was a painter. It's like when you go in your studio, don't bother me unless the house is burning, you know.
What kind of art did your mom do?
She was a painter.
Abstract, realism?
Everything.
Oil?
Everything.
Is any of her art on display anywhere?
Well, she was part of the Newton Art Association, and she taught art, so her art is not anymore, but her art was all over.
Has she seen your creations through the years?
She does, and she admitted to me that she didn't really understand what I did, but she supported me the whole way. And at the end of her life, because she passed away 8 years ago, we actually were in the throes of having a show together.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
where
we
were
were
you? Where was the show?
at the Kingston Gallery.
At the Kingston Gallery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was really interesting collaborating with somebody who's a painter, and she was inspirational.
Definitely. All
Very.
through your life, she was a painter. All through your growing up.
Yeah, she loved. So it was an interesting experience, and we got some really good pieces out of it.
Now, your husband, is he very supportive and like your work?
Totally, because he plays the violin. So
He's a violinist.
Yeah.
Very cool. How did you meet then? In college?
Oh no, he was a physician. He was a physician. He's retired.
A doctor, yeah.
Yeah, so
Oh, very good.
we met.
Because does he have any of these in his office for decoration in the waiting rooms? Up high, I hope, because he might walk out. They're so adorable.
Well, he's also retired, so no, not anymore.
He's retired. Well, I see a lot of the doctors, like over at UMass. I think there's one in particular. He's in his 80s now. They don't go. They're still hale and hearty.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think many of them are retiring as soon as they did.
No, he worked for a long time, but he's
had it.
He decided he had other things to do.
Now, what are you working on now? Something a little different at home?
So this is what I'm working on now. I'm also doing some boat forms, some origami boats that are made out of screening. So think rowboat forms that will have imagery inside of them, and they'll be wall pieces too.
Wall pieces. So will they be wool like the others?
Inside there'll be some wool, there'll be some felt, but there'll also be other objects.
Have you ever made those before?
I've worked a lot with the boat form, and I've worked a lot with screening. It's kind of the other side of my life.
Which is your favorite thing to make? Your favorite one?
That's really hard to answer.
know.
That's like asking, a writer, what's your favorite book? Or asking a parent, what's your favorite child?
Yeah, you love them all, right?
You do love them all,
You do love them all. You could make the necklace she's wearing. She could make one, I'm sure.
Oh.
Exactly like it.
I probably could.
And the student made it and gave it to you.
Yeah.
Now, your earrings, did you create those?
No, these are from Monique Rancourt. She's a jeweler in Waltham, and she made the bracelet and the ring.
Now, is that one bracelet? Is that all one piece?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was a lot of leather.
No.
It's all and an artist created this that you know, a friend of yours.
Yeah.
Look at the work in this, girls. Look. Oh, she's got even hardware in this.
Yeah.
Out of the box thinker, just as you are.
Yeah.
Anything abstract. That's why I'm so attracted to this, because it's so out of the box. When people see it, when they come to your exhibits, their mouths must just drop.
Some people don't really know what to make of this work because they're not used to seeing fiber art in this form. But I think now fiber is used across all media, all people, all artists, and so it's less. There's more of it out there, so it's easier to contemplate, so to speak. Like Sheila Pepe's got a big exhibition at the De Cordova, and if you go in, it's a lot of fiber, string, shoelaces that are coming off the wall and the ceiling and intertwined. So there's a lot of that kind of work that's going on. I think, and there was two big pieces at the MFA recently, Sheila Hicks and Cecilia Vicuna, who both use fiber in very different ways. And then the ICA just had a big show about
Were you in
thread. No, unfortunately not. It was a beautiful show, and it was a fiber show. So, it's definitely.
Have you thought of getting into? Boy, I would buy your clothes. Have you thought of this?
So when I first
Don't make it in wool. I'll be itchy.
No. So when I first started, when I first graduated, I did some wearable art. And I appreciate wearable art, and I buy wearable art, but it's definitely a niche market, and it's not my niche.
I don't know. But I see the beautiful quilting, And I think of the fun thing. The way you dress alone is like a walking your advertisement on your ability to put fun things together.
Yeah, but when you're in the clothing business, you're in a different business.
Have your own shop.
It's a lot of work.
Really?
It's a lot of work. To dye this, it takes, you have to bind it and dye it several times, and then you have to sew it. I mean, it looks wonderful, the end product, but people don't realize how much time fiber arts takes. And it truly is a labor of love. And there are a lot of people out there who do it very well. And I'm happy to support them.
Janet, again, how can they get in touch with you?
JanetKawada.com is my website, and Kawada, Kawada, D as in dog, A, at USA.net.
When are you going to be having a workshop and where again?
So I'm having a workshop at the Lexington Library. It will be in the fall, and it will be on their website. They haven't set the date yet.
The Lexington Library in the fall. What happens in the workshop? Do you have a certain amount of people who can come? Or?
I believe for that workshop there is a sign-up, but I also think it's a little bit of a drop-in. We'll be making homes, but we'll be using paper and collage. They won't be labor-intensive, because making felt is fairly labor-intensive, because you need water and
the
muscle
quilting
power.
involved, my gosh, you know.
Yeah, this isn't quilting.
It isn't?
No, this is felt. So felt, you want to think... Here, I'll give you one that's not attached.
Okay. You know, to me, it looks like a cute little hat, too.
Yeah, I
love
know.
it.
Yeah.
So that's not quilting.
No, that's felt. So when you think felt, you can think of hair that has dreads.
Yeah.
Or you think of the sheep, where you get the raw wool, and you comb it out, and you layer it, and you wet it, and you rub it, and it shrinks down. So that's not a piece of fabric that's been quilted. That's raw wool that's been felted.
My God, the work that goes into this, just one piece like this is really intensive.
Yes, it is. So this would be too much to do in a 3-hour workshop.
Yeah.
But the form itself and the whole concept of what we call home and what we put in it and what we put out is that I can do in 3 hours.
I love the idea of she showed us a couple of wall hangings. I really love wall hangings. And to have people go up to the wall and say, wow, look at, like I just did, look at that little one there, and look what she put there. It gets people thinking.
Right.
And you know what? Your work says fun.
Well, I hope so. I like my work to say fun, and I would actually like my work to make people smile a little bit. But I also want to make them think a little bit if they kind of read the backstory of it. And so it's got a twofold purpose. But I always think a little smile is good.
Oh, yeah. Well, you can tell by the way you put yourself together. This is a fun woman, out-of-the-box thinker. Brings me back to, was it the 70s? When it was 70s, 60s, the fun look, when things were fun to wear.
Yeah, I know.
You know, you could, remember the granny dresses?
Yeah, I do.
My best friend, I was just a little kid, but I learned very early. Her mother taught me how to sew. So we would get little patterns.
Right.
And I'd make
Right.
a shift for school.
Right.
Or a little granny dress.
Right.
They'd always be those little tiny patterns, you know?
Right.
The intricate ones.
Yeah.
Did you used to do that?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah, that's what my grandmother taught me to do.
So you have a sewing machine, probably more than one at home, right?
I do have two.
What are they, brother or singer?
I have two singers. One is my grandmother's.
Yeah.
And the old black one. And one is a singer from the 70s that when those fancy stitches first came out.
Yeah.
But I don't even use any of those fancy stitches. I just sew. But it's a workhorse.
My husband thinks I'm nuts, and I'm beginning to think so too. I sold a beautiful sewing machine I think we had a yard sale. And I just said, well, I'll never use it. I'll get rid of it. And I practically gave it away, and I just had it remodeled. Oh, I would love to have it back.
Oh, I know. I know.
It beats, now if I want to hem something, I have to hand
right.
sew it.
Yeah, I still repair clothes. Although now I know you can wear ripped jeans, but I still repair a lot of stuff.
Have you seen a lot of on the jeans now? They've got like your beautiful lace on your top. Down the sides?
Oh, no.
Oh, cool. Yeah, it licks your legs look longer.
Oh.
Yeah, you take your jeans, right, and then you buy your little lace or whatever, and then you just sew it on. You got a designer pair of jeans.
Good to know.
Janet is amazing, truly amazing. I'm so glad you were with us. Paul, did you zero in on the keys on this little house that she made? It is amazing that I think of the two, I love the keys, but I think this is, to me, the beading is fun. I love that. But try to see if you can get, these are houses that Janet makes, and they're all wool, and that was not quilted.
Right.
That was done with regular
Fleece. Regular wool, right from the sheep.
Is it expensive to buy the products to work with?
So it's becoming expensive just like everything else. If you go to a wool, like a sheep and a wool fair,
Yeah.
which Gore Place has in Waltham, or any of the sheep shearing that happen in the spring, you can get raw wool pretty cheap.
Pretty cheap.
Pretty cheap.
Pretty cheap.
And I've used llama also.
Llama, I've heard
I've
about
had
that.
a friend. I have a friend who has a llama, and she periodically will send me some llama.
Is it called Opsa? What do they call it now? There's llama, but there's something else too. They call it. Does it start with an A? Alpaca.
There's alpaca too.
You work with that?
I don't. The alpaca is really expensive.
Yeah.
But every sheep has different properties, just like hair has different properties. So some sheep are easier to felt. So the sheep that are being bred to felt are merino, which is, you buy that nice soft merino scarf or sweater. It's gorgeous. So merino wool is expensive.
Yeah.
If you buy some of the other breeds, not so expensive.
What would these breeds be?
They were probably Leicester, maybe Corriedale, and there's probably one other breed in there.
God, you even had to learn the breed of the sheep.
You
That's
do,
amazing.
just like you would learn the breed of a dog. Different sheep have different properties. I've gotten caracal, which are a sheep that are bred for mountains, which have very curly hair.
Yeah.
And then these are all hand dyed, and they're not natural dyes, because you would never get a natural dye that's this
Yeah.
color red.
I just love the fun she puts into it with the gadgets. And everything has like some sort of gadget. Even the collage that you did. This is, we've showed this, 3 times now. I love it. And she puts all these little different things in it, and she does the stitching, the embroidery, and you just do it.
Yeah, that's it. I just do it.
So cool. But that's the fun of it. And so
It
what
is
you're
the fun
doing
of it.
is you are translating that fun that you're feeling
Right.
to people seeing it. Before we sign off, Janet, where again are you right now exhibiting, and where are you going to be?
I am exhibiting in a migration show in the Umbrella Center for the Arts in Concord on Stowe Street up till the end of the month, and I will be exhibiting at the St. Patolph Club in April and doing a workshop in Lexington in the fall.
Can we get you out this way to do workshops?
Sure.
Yeah, I can't think. There's Northborough Library has a beautiful big room. A lot of the libraries do. And you'd be a shoo-in.
Sure.
I think it'd be a great thing. All right. Janet, thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you
This has
very
been, I
much.
was really surprised. I didn't know this fabric. I figured, well, maybe a few little pieces here and there, and then they're framed. No, she brought in these, and I thought they were almost at first little elf houses we see in gardens. This wouldn't be in a garden, but it almost reminded me of the fantasy.
Yeah, well, that's how actually they started. I
As a
started out by doing these and screening and putting them in the garden.
I'll bet children love these. Really, when they see these, don't they really?
Yeah, even big children.
You are amazing. She's a big child. I really relate. Thanks, Janet, for
You're
coming
welcome.
all the way from Brookline.
Oh, you're welcome. It was my pleasure.
See you next time and be my guest.